I would like to welcome back my dear friend Jennie Fisher. We had part one last week, so now you're going to get a little bit of part two. I do want to interject for a moment because Jennie works for an individual, Tony Goldbeck, who we think a great deal of. We have tremendous respect for his business expertise, his knowledge, his understanding of what is most important. And in the early times that we visited with Great America, I always enjoyed sitting down and having dinner with Tony and asking his advice and what his basic principles were. And it was always so informative. The thing that always stuck with me, as I said, how do you plan your growth, Tony? What do you do? He said, well, you got to pick a number that you feel that you can manage financially. I said, well, what do you do at Great America? He said, I set a target of 15% growth a year. And so far, we've been very fortunate. We've been able to do that. He said, we can do more, but I don't think it's advisable. So when you have a successful man like that, share that with you, say, that means a lot. And I learned exactly what we should not have done. And Tony was dead right. But anyway, Jennie, it's good to see you again. You've heard what I had to say about Tony. What's your general feeling about what Tony has done in terms of as the kind of the leader owner of the company and helping you get your stripes and do the things you do today?
First of all, I'll say that Tony is an incredibly visionary man. He has the ability, he's got this vision that he sets out there. He's very artistic too. A lot of people don't know this, and I love this about him, right? And that's where a lot of that vision comes from. But he's very visionary, and he looks out there. He looks at the horizon, and he looks for, right? He shoots for the sky. And what he wants to achieve, and what he wants to achieve, not only for himself, for his family, for his people, for Great America. And he had this vision of a company that he wanted to build back when he worked for GE Capital. And he knew exactly what he wanted to look like. He knew the type of people that he wanted to hire. He knew the customers that he was going to target. And he knew the value. He knew what those customers value. And he wanted to bring those values to them, and even more values that they didn't know they needed yet, if you know what I mean, right?
Yes.
And so he's incredibly visionary, but on the flip side of that, he's a very detailed planner, which is what you alluded to, right? He's got a good sense, but Tony was always very strong on, you got to set the vision, and then you got to back into the plan on how you're going to get there. And then you got to be very disciplined on executing to that plan. Not to say you're going to get off track once in a while. You are. But you veer off the interstate and then you come back on, right? Once you get back on track. Two most important characteristics of Tony. I will say that he's extremely good to his people. That's one reason that so many people desire to come to Great America, and when they come, they don't leave. We have very tenured individuals here, and it's because of the vision that he's set there and the company that he's built, and the culture that surrounds that vision and the people there. Or here, I should say.
Thank you. I always got the impression that Tony was open to diversification early on.
Absolutely.
What are some of the things that he started out with away from the office equipment?
So I'm going to back up a little bit for when Tony was at GE Capital. Mm-hmm. And I think it's okay for me to say this, but I started at GE not long before he left there, and then ended up coming to Great America with him. Tony was very involved as president of Lease America at the time, and then GE taking over. Tony was very involved on the sales side of things, and he had a lot of interaction and contact with the sales reps. And at the time that I worked there, I will tell you, I don't think there was a male sales rep. I don't recall a male sales rep. I think when GE came in and took us over, and then at the corporate level, there was. And it wasn't that Tony wasn't, he wasn't demonstrating diversity, right? He felt that women were extremely strong individuals to go out and build relationships. They have the empathy and the passion, right? They're collaborators. They have the wherewithal to bring people together, to build consensus, to land on decisions, and they're very persuasive. And and it's not that men don't possess those qualities either, but I do smile when I say that, right? Because of the loyalty that he had to women, and he really did target that. So that kind of really carried over to Great America. Not to say that, I mean, we are very diversified in general here, but as we brought more and more people into the organization, he was very supportive of women, and especially in leadership positions. Anybody that had exposure working with our customers, and then in leadership positions. As a matter of fact, the first person to join Tony at Great America was Jennifer Haycraft. She was chief credit officer at GE Capital. And so that was the first officer that he had here. And so when I joined Tony, he was always very supportive of me. Number one, he cared about me, and I was very fortunate for that. But he always encouraged me to get outside my comfort zone. And he always told me and encouraged me that you can do whatever you want to do, right? You just got to set a plan. You got to set the vision, and you got to set a plan for how you're going to get there. And I will say that there are many individuals within the organization, male and females, that Tony has been a huge sponsor and mentor for, and provided that same guidance. But as a female in the organization, I can tell you that it really provided motivation to me. And then other good leaders come along that really helped me diversify my knowledge and my experience. You think about David Pullman and Stan Herkelman, right? And I'm very fortunate even today to still have guidance from all three of them. And I can call them up any time of the day, and they're going to answer my call, right? And take the time to listen to me.
I think we share a common opinion about Tony and Great America. Congratulations, Jenny, for all you've done and all you're doing. Good to
Thank you
have
very much.